Welcome, football stalkers. Welcome. Ish, Mabane no go jiviwa, the chairman, the president, the speaker, while the coach didn't the interview, why jiviwa go stadium, homonate. But also on the other side, the other Soweto team was celebrating. Hey, wait again, no homonate, but win. They seem like they were losing. They seem like they're brother or their Makelwan or whatever. They seem like, hey, now there's problems there, but they came back, they won. But I am not alone as always. I am joined by Tulani. Tulani, my brother. welcome.
No, thanks, Ivan. It's not a good afternoon, but yeah, thanks for having me. And Yabuli is up for Guma Football Stalkers. Yeah, it's not a good afternoon in Soweto. I mean, it's dark. It's dark. Kaiser Chiefs lost to a new Mamkize team. Yeah, embarrassed. I'm very embarrassed. I don't even know what to say because we didn't only lose the match. It was 4 goals past us. I feel very, very, very sad for Peterson for conceding so many goals. I think you would want to forget that debut. I feel very, very sorry for Unjabulo Ngobo, starting on such a horrible day. I think it was a very bad day in office for the entire team. It was bad, fit. And yeah, congratulations to the Pirates. Yeah.
Yes, because if one looks at, yeah, that was a hiding. That was an embarrassment from for Kaizer Chiefs to be losing with that margin. Look, I know some would say, yeah, how can you lose 4-1 to a newly promoted team? But it's not a newly promoted team actually. It's Bloemfontein Celtics, guys.
True.
It's the same coach, John Maduka, and we know what John does to Kaizer Chiefs with the Masuku, the Batubanu, Umahlasela, Bagainenzani, you saw but obviously we know the story about Umapena.
Yeah.
But the team is essentially Broom Celtics.
Yeah, true. And I was thinking, when they scored 2 goals, I thought, is this the game that we played against Celtic when they scored quick goals and then we ended up winning 3-2? I thought maybe we're going to come back on this game. But when Unange got injured, the guy who replaced him was a guy. The guy is not a midfielder, if he's a player at all, football player at all. So that was our turning point. That was our turning point because when he came in, a guy, he gave us absolutely nothing that Unange was giving us. Nange gives us a forward pass. A guy gives us 2 things: a backward pass and misplaced passes. I saw him ducking the ball. I don't know if anyone saw this. After coming in, a guy was not being passed the ball. Dolly would hold the ball. A guy is here in front of him as a possible receiver of the ball, but he would be looking for another possible pass before choosing to pass a guy. So we were 1 man down already when a guy come in. So that then says to me, the coach is failing Kaizer Chiefs.
Okay, the coach. Who must come in?
Yeah,
because
good question.
I asked this because you, rightfully so, let me say, fans are frustrated in the way that Baxter is setting up his teams, his team selection, and his tactics, right? But who then comes in for the Chief supporters to be happy, to say, yes, this is the guy we want, and Sihamba Nai?
You know what? Before answering this question, I just want to put it on record that Kaizer Chiefs' problems are far beyond coaching. So it's not about coaches who comes in, who goes out. Mm-hmm. That's one point. Number 2, I'm not going to tell you the name of a coach that should come in, but I'm going to tell you the attributes. The coach must be a coach that wants to play football. you know, um, a manager, a guy who's going to be willing to manage a process, start and rebuild a whole new process, start that process, be patient with the process, and then we can now talk of what most fans are saying of Zwane coming in and taking over. But now I'm thinking it's too early to say Zwane must come in and take over. I would not mind having him as a caretaker coach, because the caretaker says we are looking for the relevant guy to coach this club, you know. But Zwane can take over. We know what he can do. We've seen it in MDC, but it's a different pressure at Kaizer Chiefs senior level. We won trophies. It's been almost 7 seasons now without a trophy. So throwing Zwane in there is almost saying in a couple of games we want to let go of you, which is something that I don't want to happen, you know. So have him as a caretaker, and then look for the coach who wants to play football, who wants to build the future of the club. But then that takes me back to the management. Do they have the plan? I believe not.
Yeah, because now coming on to what you're saying, and I think I agree with you in saying that if Zwane comes on and there's no trophies, then you're running the risk of fans turning against Uzwane for him to be sacked, right? And we know generally fans never ask for anybody to be demoted. No, magaha. Nobody would say, I
Yeah, it's Magahambe. Yeah.
you know. So, but now,
No, Magahambe. Iplamba.
so now, but coming back to what you're saying, you guys want a manager, but are PSL teams, including Kaiser Chiefs, ready for a manager? Because a manager would then mean that the coach has full control of who comes in. But now, already Kaiser Chiefs have assumed a structure role. They brought in Unseki as the director of Kaiser Chiefs, who will be in charge of development at Kaiser Chiefs, and also will be in charge of what kind of players are coming into the team for the senior team. So everything's gonna run past Unseki. Now, for now, it kind of works. Now, assuming that Baxter stays longer, it works for Baxter because he's worked with Unseki. So there's a good working relationship between the two. But now what happens when another coach comes in? So essentially, a director's position is almost as high as a head coach, because you get to decide. The coach will have to come to you and say, I want these players. And the director will then say, no, you can't have that player, you can't have that player, but you can have that sort of thing, right? So,
Yeah.
and even in recruiting a coach, it's something that seems like Nseki will be also, his opinion is going to matter as to what kind of coach comes in at Kaiser Chiefs. So equally, we can say Nseki has quite an interesting, or perhaps a powerful position at Kaiser Chiefs, right? And
That's if it's not just a job title, you know. Being in a family business, you need to be uh, very strong. I hope the guy, like you said, understands. I know he does understand, but the magnitude of the position he sits in. Is he going to make an impact? That's the question. Is he going to stand his ground and say no, the club should take this direction? Because in the past we have had a mismatch between coaches and players. We do have it now. We have a coach who believes in transition. We have players who believe in playing the ball, you know, which I think it was recommendations from the previous coach. Now we already have a mismatch. And in as much as I like the coach a lot, I think he's not the right guy for Kaizer Chiefs to take Kaizer Chiefs forward, because the guy wants to play with the old players that he left. Um, and when he brings in the new ones, he kind of comes with a system that it doesn't normally use, where you play with 3 center backs.
mm,
What system is that? Why can't you drop the underperforming players and try build around the new players. You know, that's something I don't understand about the guy, which makes me think, does he even care about the future of the club? Does he even care about building? So that's the kind of coach that we need. Yes, we need trophies, but we need to have some sense of there's a process behind that we are building. Khatebe, good player, back to MDC. You know what is that? Ngobo, our best player last season. He kicked the ball final minutes of yesterday, you know. So I'm not sure if the guy has the best interest of Kaizer Chiefs at heart. I'm sorry. I like the coach because of the glory days, but um, I'm changing my mind now. He's failing us.
Yeah, because what's questionable as well is like you say, it on how can I put this? Generally, if you look at that, I'll use Chelsea because Chelsea under Conte were a team that best used the three center backs, but their formation was a 3-5-2, right, where he had three in midfield, and then he had two wing backs, your Moses and your Alonso, and then he had obviously the three center backs, and then there at the top he had your Hazard, and he had another player who he used to change around in terms of a striker, whether it was William or. But he had that system, and it was working so well in the way that when they attack, they were overloaded. I mean, already the middle field was overloaded. You had five, right, and the wing backs would overlap, and then you had three who were controlling the game. Now, coming back to Baxter, now you've got three center backs. One, obviously, he's playing over in the wrong side of Intole. I don't know why he opted to
Yeah,
play
left.
on that side. Was it a situation of Umatoho or Cardoso are more comfortable playing in the position rather? So he was maybe somebody who was a bit more versatile. But another one is
And you have Udube, who's naturally a left-footed center back.
yes.
Remember, Udube is naturally left-footed. Now, are you benching Dube to accommodate these other two? You know, is it because Dube made a mistake against Sundowns? But sure. So I'm saying, yeah, a lot to be asked out of the coach. You have a left-footed center back. You keep him on the bench. You play the new guy on that side. I don't care how versatile he is, but when you are paired with the guys that are not good, you almost have double job to cover for them and to do your job. I felt like that's what was happening on the day, where he could have just opted for four defenders, where you play Dube on the left, play Ngobo on the right. They did on during the Kosafa Cup. They played together. Then you have that to build from. And I have a problem when you play these three guys at the back, né? And then on the side you play Blom, which for some reason we believe he's not as good going forward to be a wing back. On the other side you play Utlanti, who as well is not good going forward. If he goes, he's going to be late coming back because that's not his instinct to go forward. He's a defender. So you have five defenders against Royal AM.
Mm.
What message are you bringing now here? So he got it wrong there.
Conceding 4 goals.
And with five defending players, that says to me, here I am. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyway. And it's worrying for me as a Kaizer Chiefs fan.
Well, okay. Now, looking at, I think if anything, this team by Kaizer Chiefs is a quality team. I don't know about you, but I think you might not have the squad size similar to Sundowns in terms of quality. And we use Sundowns because they essentially are the benchmark to other PSL teams. Um, but in terms of a first 11, you've got quality. You've got Utoli, who's obviously not 100% fit, but he's still quality. And he's going to have off days. That's granted. And it seemed like yesterday's game
Yeah.
was off day.
Yeah.
I think fans are divided when it comes to Kamapila, which I honestly believe Kamapila, with Dolly being there, he seemed different. He seemed positive. He seemed like Kamapila wants to play again.
Mm.
But maybe his performances are not living up to the level that players or supporters know him to be at, right? Nokovic, who came on the scene, now he's a shadow of himself. And probably maybe the system that the current coach is employing is not favorable to him, because the fact that he's playing as a winger rather than as a striker, he's the one who likes receiving the ball. He's the one who likes wrestling with the defenders, playing into space. And now he does a lot of running. You
Mm.
have Ungogo. Maybe he's not a starter, but he's still quality. Nkosini Pengo. You've got
Yeah.
Unjabulo Ngobo. You've got Lobatuban, Nange, like you said. And mind you, Nange and Cole Alexandra was a combination that most Kaizer Chiefs fans, if I recall, were enjoying and were comfortable with, to say, you know what, this pairing in midfield is proper. But it seems like it's changed a little bit. Now, me, I believe, Guti, the two would work perfect if you had Umanyama and Unobo fighting for the playmaker position. Because you need a playmaker. You need somebody who's going to make those killer passes. And Umanyama and Unobo are those kind of players that should be fighting for that position. And then you'll have Ukama Bilad and Dolly on the wing, and you'll have Nokovic as a striker to receive the balls. So that both Dolly, Nabo, Batuan Bilad can play off him as well. And then at the back, you have a
Yeah.
normal back four with your two center backs, which I believe Kaizer Chiefs fans can debate on this. You've got those who want Mato and Gattuso out. You have those who point out that Udube and Ongobo, when they came on, they made mistakes. So maybe so there I'll leave it there. But it seems Ungati, the formation that will work better for you is a back four rather than a back three. Over to you, Tulan.
Back four works better for us. Back four works better for us. I agree, because I mean we've been using back four. I don't know. Suddenly we decide to use three, which happens to be a back five, in my opinion, and we're still conceding goals. I just wanted to attend to the question of equality. You are right. We have some quality, but honestly, we didn't do enough in the transfer market. We still lacked key positions, keeping the striking position and the CDM. We had Usep Karusnath available for that position, but the coach turned it down. We had Utabo Tsele available there in the midfield as a central midfield, but the coach thought, no, we are not going to go there. Litswalo, who scored a brace yesterday, was also turned down by the coach. So quality, yes, but not enough. I would expect a team like Kaizer Chiefs to at least have two players, good players in one position, each position. Take a right back, for instance. We have Ublom now, and we have Frosler. Frosler is as good. We have Utlanti now in left back, and we have Umabiliso, who was unfortunate to score that own goal.
And you've got
But he's as good as well. So we have Mashiane as well. Yeah. So quality, yes, but not enough. And the tactics now, going to the guy up front, Unekovic, which is a striker, like you said, a guy who needs to be wrestling with the defenders in the box, pouncing on those loose balls, attacking those crosses. But now he's the one to make the crosses to who? You know, I have a question there. And you have Ukama. I know we are divided on this, but I think one thing that is lacking on Ukama is goal. You know, that finishing touch is what will win fans in his favor, because he's an attacking player and we are used to him scoring goals. Now he's missing goals. Yes, his energy changed since Dolly came in, which I appreciate. I think he's doing well, but now he needs to start scoring. I know fans, all they want is goals. If they don't see goals, there's no good player there, you know. So I think that's what's missing with Ukama. And yeah, we are very thin in the middle, and we choose to play players who are not midfielders. Okay, I will go back there. We have Unangi and Cole. And I will agree with you on in number 10, Ungo, who should be playing in front of those two. Because both those give you the pass. Unangi gives you the pass. Cole will give you the work in the middle, but he's not as good to pass. But this is where number 10 will come in to make the team play. We haven't been playing um, 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 good football. I know we looked promising against Ibaroka, but that was in patches. It was in first half. But do we want to look like that? I think as fans we need to accept one thing. Um, our team is not as big as we think it is because we are amongst these small teams we struggle. Big teams don't struggle among small teams. Big teams dominate small teams, and we find ourselves dominating or putting our efforts when we play against the likes of Sundowns, Pirates, and stuff, which makes me think, okay, maybe we have become a small team because now small teams put double their efforts when they play big teams. You know, we we don't seem to be a big team anymore, and they say checkbook don't solve all problems, but I think that's what we need to do. Sign quality, make players compete, quality players compete,
Look,
you
Tulani,
know.
um, in the modern game, this modern game, you definitely need to buy quality. And this is my follow-up question. I was actually going there. We spoke about a manager coming in, and we spoke about a structure. Uh, when a manager comes in, he needs the support, and the support comes in the checkbook. Now, off air, we spoke about Upito, who came and turned Sundowns around, and he took charge of that Sundowns in who was coming in or out. You need that sort of situation. But in you achieving that, that then means that if a coach comes, because we know generally, and this is not something just only in the PSL, but all over the world, you would have three options of, let's say, let's choose a striker as an example. So you're going to have three options of strikers that you want. But you're going to have obviously your number one, which is your preferred striker, and you're going to have alternatives in an event that you're unable to sign that very same striker. But you put trust in the club that they're going to put all their efforts in making sure that they get your first choice. Now, Chiefs doesn't seem to be doing that very well when it comes to first choice signings. It seems Umati, they are quick to pull out. We've heard too many times when they are set to sign somebody, Sanons comes into the race, which is something that I would say is perfectly normal because as an agent, you're going to make sure at the end of the day, you're looking for a better deal, right? As an agent. And the player is also looking for a better deal in terms of getting a good salary. Now, if you, Kaizer Chiefs, as a team, are going to negotiate for a player and the agent is open to negotiating with other teams, and you've got a Sundowns that comes into the picture, and your reaction as Kaizer Chiefs is to pull out, then you're always gonna play second fiddle if that is your uh, what is default reaction of pulling out and saying we can't match what Sundowns will be willing to pay the player or the agent. But it's all about intent. If you as Kaiser Chiefs are serious about getting better, about getting back to your glory days, then you need to get your first choice signings.
Yeah, it's all about the intent and relationships. I feel like we can do better in terms of relationships with the clubs that we work with, you know. I am of the thought that we don't have the best of relationships with most clubs. I don't want to put blame on one person at Kaizer Chiefs, but it's a system that we should try look at in terms of our negotiation style and building those relationships. We have tried with Iswalozi but I think we can do better. So the excuse is always like when a player is wanted by Chiefs, the prices are inflated. That's always the excuse for not getting those first preferences, which I have a problem with. It means you are fine with settling for second best, which means now in terms of success as well, you should be fine being second best. So I have a big problem with how we do our signings. We are known for signing free agents. Sharp, we can get free agents that are good. I'm not ruling that out, but go for those quality players and try to instill a culture in the coach, whichever coach comes in. If you have a development player that is good, they must be part of the team. You can't be saying a 21-year-old is not ready to play when he shows when he's playing that he's ready. That's another thing. Use your development side. Don't send those. I have a problem with Ukhatebe being sent back to MDC because, in my opinion, the guy is ready. He's got the heart. He's got the ability. So what more do you want? For him to be 25? That too. So there's a lot of excuses not to do the right things. And I think it also goes back to the mismatch we have with coaches, which I believe needs to be looked at closer, because we tend to just bring in coaches when we need coaches, not knowing the kind of football we want to play. Do we have a philosophy? Do we have the do's and don'ts for the coaches? Do we have a tight contracts in terms of building an average age of the squad, maybe at a certain age, not having an average age at 33, and you're not winning anything. You're not, at the same time, you're not building anything. So we need to decide whether we are building or we are winning. At the moment, we are doing none of that.
Oh, well, let's leave it at that. I know this is probably, maybe it might seem like rubbing salt to the wound, but we were talking Kaiser Chiefs. The result was Kaiser Chiefs 1 and Royal AM 4. Mom Kize.
They had the party. It was going down. The chairman was going down there.
I know it was going down. It was going down. But shout out. Look, obviously we try to talk about everyone. Hopefully in the next segments we'll be talking about your Pirates, and today Sanos is going to be playing, so we're also going to have that in our other segments moving forward. And I was joined by Utulani. I'm a Kosi supporter. Hey, they were hating Isola. They were hurt. They were venting. They were, and wabona now good. I know there was a theme. Magahambe. I heard it so many times. Magahambe.
Magahambe.
Hashtag Magahambe. Look, it's the master tactician fan, Koza Ivan. You know what to do. You heard what Tulani had to say, right? Whether you agree or disagree with him, which way are you going to do it? Comment. Yeah. Comment, have your say on what we've been discussing about Chiefs' performance yesterday and the club as it is at the moment and what's going on at Naturena. And Mos, you can find us on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram at Football Stalkers. Share, like, comment, Bona, everything. Spread the word. Become part of the movement. I'm signing out. Tulani, any last words from your side, my brother?
Last words, we need to have a closer look in that cheaper Pirates fixture. It doesn't look right. It's always one-sided. Please, let's have a closer look there.
Hey, one thing I know is that Kevin Hunt doesn't play, and it seemed as though cheaper were winning. I mean, there were chances that, Boma Hlambi and then didn't take, and then you're like, what's going on here? And Pirates somehow came back. But discussion for another day. Let's leave it here, Tulani. Thanks for joining. We're signing out. We're signing out. Cheers. Enjoy your whatever's left of your weekend.
Cheers, man. Thanks for having me.
Sure, sure.